Yo, when I spit bars in a raid, man, I go hard like Santan.
Yes, good evening. What is going on, one and all, everybody? It's your boy SV Carbaholic back on hosting duty. Yes, another week, another TG Touchline Gunners pod. I'm your host. Good to be back. Yes, guys, we are in full transfer mode, transfer season. If you have, if you have been in stupid. I'd say if you've been in, you're not going to be in the TG group chat, but it's funny. There's been a lot of discussions already so far since the window opened, 4 days ago. A lot of crashing out, a lot of debates up and down. So bearing in mind that we are only 4 days into the window, this is going to be a long summer, a long summer. So, but we are here to gist, debate, drop all that good gossip with you. So if you do like what you hear, tell a friend to tell a friend. On Friday, yes, do be on the lookout. We are doing a couple scouting vids. We are back with the scouting pieces. You know what time of the season it is. And with two players we've done before, but the data has been updated. You know, we've done Zubimendi before, we've done Sesko before, but we are coming with you with the 24-25 data. So new clips, new updates, new data. So if you do like that sort of good stuff where we review players, do tell a friend to tell a friend. 24-25, we'll take a look at the tapes and we'll analyze Zubimendi, which we know is probably going to go through in July. And we will analyze Sesko. So a lot of that good stuff on the way. And obviously, as more and more links gather, we will also touch on those links. We are potentially looking to do some live streams on YouTube where we just might have, it might just be an individual member of the cast, maybe like 20-30 minutes, just talks you through, maybe transfer of the day, transfer rumor of the day, anything that's on their mind, anything that's pressing or, breaking news that day, just to kind of keep you guys plugged through at the summer. So also do be on the lookout for that one as well. I am just quickly, because I know we got sent for by those pagans on the main pod who were talking about there was no TG representation at the weekend. Listen, ain't nobody running from the grand. They know where we are. They know where the number is. Man didn't get any shout out. So listen, let them continue taking their shots. It's what happens when you're the main characters. Don't worry, let them go. We got to be back next season, baby. But right, we are going to discuss a few things today. And with me, I have three esteemed gentlemen to talk all that good stuff with me. First and foremost, Mr. Pan-African himself, Khalil. How are you, brother?
Grand Rising, my brothers. I'm doing all right, man. Just
Man said Grand Rising, bro. This brother, bro. Shabs, the hood solicitor. Yes, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm all good, man. I've been having a splendid day, if I do say so myself.
Do you know, I've been noticing your tone in the chat has been very positive, very upbeat, boy. Listen, you need to spread that good vibes over here, boy.
Apart from when I got to go tell man to F off, innit? There you go. There you go. But yeah, man, I'm good, man. Life can't trouble me again.
That's good, man. That's good. And listen, finally, the troublemaker of the group himself, Mr. 15-year-old who was scoring at the Emirates last week. We be seeing the snaps, brother. I be seeing it. How are you, German Teasy?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm glad to be back on the podcast with the guy that seems to like carbs a lot, Brother Muzon and our Shapston,
Hey, listen, it's not even me you've been tussling. Listen, we had our turn. It's not even me you've been tussling with recently, bro. It's Cougs, boy. It's Cougs you've been going back and forth with today, boy. It's not me.
Bro. I'll find somebody, man.
Cougs told German Dan to shut up here, and he's been salty all day.
Ain't no I'm salty about it, bro.
Shut up, man. He said, "You don't run, don't change the topic."
I'm always front line, bro.
Hey.
Listen, Khalil, I'll come to you first because I know you got to drop off early for some reason. Man got one sneaky link from Bristol coming out. But we won't die.
9:30.
Yeah, hard
man.
God, all right, boy.
You man are way up in my business for absolutely no reason.
Boy. Khalil, let me come to you. So we're going to start with a grade of the season. looking at it in totality, I want you to give me your grade. Could be from A to E, and the reasoning why.
I give it a C. I think, yeah, people will obviously refer to the things that happened within the season as to why we didn't achieve our goals. But fundamentally, we look at the beginning of the season, what we wanted to achieve and what we ended up achieving in conjunction with last summer's transfer window. I find it hard to give a grade above that. So the things that take it up to a C, or the good parts, are, emergence of the youngsters, the Champions League run. But fundamentally, I said this to someone the other day, I was like, if you look at the amount of games we played this season, and if I was to probably put like a percentage of how many of them I actually enjoyed the performance of, like on a week-to-week basis, it's, markedly down on the previous season. So even outside of, not winning the title, not winning the Champions League, etc., I didn't particularly enjoy our ball all that well throughout the season. And then obviously we didn't challenge for the league, and we had the very, very disappointing cup upset. So for me, I can't really give it anything more than a C at best. I give credit to Arteta sort of gathering the troops together and making sure we qualified top four. But again, these are things that you expect rather than hope for at the beginning of the season. So yeah, I think we'll obviously get into more of it as the pod goes on. But for me, I can't see anything more than a C. I think I said on the account as well, I gave it a 5 out of 10. And I said I give marks for the Madrid games. Obviously, we went and dominated the European champions. I can't poo-poo that. I gave some credit for the youngsters coming through, MLS and Ethan. Big, bright points. And then I give a header for that. Give a mark for that Gabriel header at the Etihad, because when that went in, all of us were floating. We thought we were about to go to the moon at that point. We were winning at the champions. All was well. We were playing better than the actual champions at that point. Rodri had gone down injured. Everything was lining up for a parade in May, and then pretty soon after that, things started going very left, and then continued to go left some more, and then we went off a cliff. So, yeah, C grade. Bare room for improvement next season, and we end up with an A.
All right, German DZ, what's your grade and why?
I feel like always, these guys like being a bit too harsh.
I'll give it an A star, man. Tell us why we're wrong.
When you consider the context of the season, I have to give it a B. To still come out second, to still go to the Champions League in the final stages, in my opinion. I think all in all, it's been a disappointing season, no doubt. I think it probably needed more managing than last season, to be honest, where we came a lot closer to glory in the league. Yeah, overall, I probably think he had to be a better manager this season, given the circumstances that we faced in the second half of the season, especially than last season when we had majority of the team available. So I think, yeah, I'm between B and C, but I'm leaning towards B, given the endorphins of the Real Madrid game, the hoodoo of, thinking, 3-0, they could still bottle it, even winning that game 3-0, then going to the Bernabeu and winning it. I do think, that is a big part, a big learning curve for this team. Overall, I don't think anyone can be happy with the season, and we come away with nothing apart from experiences. So, these are the facts and this is the truth. But I do think there's credit on how the season was managed, given the circumstances. What the only big criticism I have around the season, because I feel like starting slow is not a big criticism of mine, because I think if you can load up and finish strongly, that's cool. But the big criticism of mine is how we in the league, I think, lost too many games in that last 10 spell. But then I do recognise that they threw everything into the Champions League. But I think our league form in the last 10 games was really, really poor. I don't think Champions League was close, because as soon as we needed to really get some points, we did get them. So it was clearly a thing of like us taking our focus off the league. But I think that's probably the main criticism I have this season. That I felt like we played that second half in the league very, very sloppily, to be honest. But I think it's as a consequence of what transpired, and that's so yeah.
Yeah. No, fair play, brother Shabs. On to you. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think C, and I think C's very fair. I don't really understand how man could say man likes to be harsh by giving it a C when man themselves said B, C.
Just explain your
Wait. You had your turn. You spoke. I'm speaking.
I don't understand.
Wait your turn.
Wait
your turn. Wait your turn. Wait
You don't need to
till
understand
the
what I'm
block
saying. You just need
spins
to listen to it.
again. Yeah.
Order!
Wait until the block spins again. Yeah. I don't really understand all of this. Yeah.
You don't need
I
to,
don't
brother.
understand it. It ain't harsh. It ain't harsh. The season wasn't a good season. It wasn't a good season. Yes, there were some moments about it. There were some things which I think you can look and see like green shoots of recovery. There were some things you could say, oh, actually the coach did well, or given the circumstances, actually we done better than we thought, anticipated. But I think the way we ended last season, the way we should have entered into this season, and I don't mean started the season, I think I 100% agree with German Dan's point about you can start season slow. I don't think Liverpool flew out the blocks by way of comparison actually this season. So you can start season slow. But I think if you look at what we expected and how we expected our season to go, considering the finish that we made last season, and the promises as well of man going on the pitch, the same way they done it a couple of weeks ago. Man went on the pitch at Highbury and said, we came so close this year and blah, blah, blah. Next year, we want to deliver. So you go in with that anticipation, and to see that the business that was done in the summer, which was underwhelming, I think we were all kind of had doubts and reservations about what we could actually achieve. But then you start to see other teams drop off in terms of their own quality, and you start to think, well, actually, we don't actually need to be that fantastic to win the league this year. We do need a degree of consistency. And I think at so many moments throughout the season, for different reasons, for decisions and injuries, and sometimes it was just poor form.
Okay, if you rank those reasons, can you
loads
give
of
me
different
1, 2,
stuff.
3?
But for me, still, we
Not
had
just
too
errors.
many of those instances in the game. We had too many instances where we just
I'm going to
we
ask
just
that
shagged,
question
man.
again.
We just shagged. And I was talking, and there was radio silence when Aaron the plumber was talking, yeah. But when I'm talking, he wants to be doing interruptions.
I will. I'm a
and
disruptive character.
being disruptive and whatnot. So now, when I finish speaking, now I will answer your question.
I'm a
Say what it is that
disruptive
you said.
character, brother. You going to answer the question, brother Shabs?
What did you ask?
Can you rank those?
Can I rank the moments?
No. The ranking of what affected the season. In terms of, the gravity of how they affected our season.
I think injuries was one of the biggest factors. We had key injury. I'd weight injuries as probably the most significant factor which affected our season. Secondary to injuries, I'd say transfers. I'd say like the summer business and like kind of failing to act in January when we were so light, and we all predicted the window's going to shut and we're going to lose another big player, just because of the volume of games that have been played last season, over the summer, and so far at that point in the season as well. So I think injuries are second. The refereeing stuff, it holds some weight, but it's lower down, but they were significant. And when you consider as well the lack of parity, the disparity across decisions made and the application of decisions across other teams in the league for similar incidents, you can't discount it. I don't want to use it as like a major excuse, but we also can't discount it and overlook it and say, oh, no, it didn't matter. It was inconsequential. It was absolutely consequential for us when you think about Rice. And we never saw that again, by the way. When you think about Trossard, we didn't see that again, by the way. When you think about Miles Lewis-Skelly, which, yes, it was overturned. It was overturned, the Miles Lewis-Skelly one, wasn't it? But the impact it had on the day, on the game as well, the toll it takes, there's different factors behind it, but ultimately injuries were a key one. To lose Jesus, you can argue about Jesus's quality, but to lose Jesus, to have Marino injured at the start of the season on his very first training session, I think disrupted a bit of his integration into the side. To have Jesus injured, to have the injuries that we had all throughout our back line for the early opening exchanges of the season, to have Ben White out for a significant period of time, to have a major injury to Gabriel for the closer of the season, to have a major injury to Kai Havertz as well, to have a major injury to Saka, Ødegaard. It's so significant. I'm at like 7 or 8 key players, you know, who have missed injuries. So for me, that's the most significant factor.
It's fair. It's fair. Khalil, let me come to you then. Just back to you on your highlights for the season.
Well, the obvious place to start is the 2 Madrid games.
Just one. I didn't ask for dissertation, my friend. Your highlights. So I think
Talk to
carefully.
that young man.
I thought we were finding context here. I'm trying to provide context.
Brother, we ain't trying to hit, bro. We all got beds to go to, bro. Give me one. Give me one damn highlight, bro. That's what I'm asking for, bro. Think carefully. It could be a player, could be a game, it could be a moment, it could be a signing. Just the one highlight.
Man said signing, you know. Did you see our business last season? Ain't nothing to celebrate about Mickey Marino. So now that you've narrowed me down to one moment, I'm actually going to go with MLS against Man City because the game state as well. And obviously the back context of what happened in the previous game when he was getting pressed by Haaland for no reason. And I think, as I mentioned in like the grading,
that was his debut that game as well, by the way. The one in the away game. He made his debut game.
Exactly, first ever Prem game to come into that context as well. We've seen how strong his mentality and his ability to adapt to Prem football. But yeah, that game specifically, obviously he'd already been playing for a bit, but again, to receive the ball in that space, to turn and then sort of make the decisive movements and strike towards goal, quality goal, and then the celebration on top and all the drama that it caused for absolutely no reason afterwards. Again, one of the genuine highlights you can take from this season that's, you know, void of any sort of negatives is seeing how him and Ethan have come through. And I think that game really was the official arrival of MLS on the scene. And again, we hope to see more and more. We will see more and more of that. So yeah, definitely I'd say yeah, MLS against City scoring to take us 3-1 up was a big highlight of mine.
Good. German, your highlight.
Boy. I think the Rice. Someone's got to pick Rice against Madrid, don't they? So I just.
They don't have to.
Someone on this spot has to. Like, if I pick
It'll
something,
be dumb if all of us miss that game.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm gonna go.
Pick it, man. Pick it. Choose it.
Don't tell me what to do.
Choose it, man. Choose it, man.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Havertz against Man City.
Oh, you guys disgusting. Fucking hell.
Man never shouted in the group. He did the wrong run. My boy cooked anyway, bro. Ooh, I was enjoying that.
This is the most disgusting man on earth.
This guy is wrong. You're wrong, bro. Absolutely wrong. And the thing is, yeah, fight Dan Cougs fairly. Yeah, don't slander his name when he's not here to defend him.
I didn't slander Cougs.
I swear you just said Cougs was shouting.
No, I said man.
You picked the wrong run.
Anyway, Cougs can hold that, man. He can hold that, man.
I'm dead.
Cougs punched you
up.
Wait.
Is that your serious? Is that your serious response? Havertz versus City, yeah.
That's his serious answer.
I told you the season had a couple good moments for me, to be honest. I'll do you. I really enjoyed was Bukayo Saka coming back and scoring on his comeback. It kind of restored the feeling. To be fair, I'll probably pick that moment actually.
Okay.
Saka being out injured, you know, everything doom and gloom. People talking about he wouldn't play for the rest of the season, to be honest. And then it was literally like Anakin Skywalker, man. He came back, scored on his debut. I think the week or 2 weeks after I played against Madrid. You could tell he was half fit, but he was still torturing them. Then the Spanish press saying, "Yeah, Saka the torturer." Yeah, I can't lie. That 2 week period of Saka coming back, I was like, we're cooking something. It didn't last long, but boy, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm just gonna say Saka's comeback. That comeback period of Saka.
Okay, Shabs.
Yeah, you see, you gave him too much airtime, and he just infringed on my thing. My thing was Saka missing the penalty. I didn't enjoy that, but the manner in which he was able to bring it back and get a goal in, what was it, the second game against? Yeah, it was the second game. It was the second leg against Real Madrid, man. I thought, come on, man, this guy, he encapsulates what it means to be a North London Red, like to be an Arsenal fan through and through, like to represent the club. Like, I just thought, yeah, man, this is the guy, man. He was top. So that was a top moment for me, given the stakes as well. And yeah, the other one was Miles Lewis-Skelly's goal against Man City. I think Khalil already said it, but yeah, MLS's goal against Man City. My God, man, that was endorphins, because he gave it back. Like, after the stick that he got, for me, that's elite shithousery, man. Like, and the audacity to do that as a young player. I said, yeah, man, this guy's serious. He's a mentality monster. Like, he showed me all I needed to know. So yeah, man, top moment.
Not that anyone asked, but my moment is.
I was about to ask you, bro. I didn't forget you.
My moment of the season is going way back now. It's the first North London derby. If you remember, I think Ødegaard was injured, Rice was suspended. We were playing those two encores in midfield, and Spurs were talking a lot of smack about how they were going to crash it on us, and they did nish. And it was one of those ones, you knew the goal was coming when it did. We sort of held them at bay, and then that Gabriel, bro. You see Gabriel from a set piece here. You see when that shit lands, bro. I just be levitating.
That bullet header crazy, man.
That header is crazy, bro. And I think it was Neville who was commentating at the time. He was like, when Arsenal got the corner, Arsenal almost started cheering. It was like, you sort of knew a goal was coming here, bro. And when it landed, I said, bro, I was levitating, bro. Levitating. So yeah, so it's and it was kind of because of how the season ended, and you knew how we sort of started leaking goals, especially from set pieces. You kind of saw the miss. Like, we know Gabriel's important anyway, but in both boxes, that you really felt that after the miss. Who knows? Listen, if he never got injured, maybe we could have harambled our way through PSG in the semis as well, man. But listen, all of that is under spilt milk now. German, let me stay with you then. Your disappointing moment of the season. Could be a player, could be a moment, could be a game.
The Jan transfer window, for sure. I felt like, and you know, I have a different opinion to the rest of the group with the summer business. I definitely felt the summer business was underwhelming. I do think we had enough to, if players stay fit, compete on all fronts and potentially win it. I think what killed us this season or last season was the injuries. I still felt that the team fully fit could have gone toe-to-toe Liverpool. But, you know, injuries happened, you know, en masse, to be honest, and they killed us. So I don't share their disappointment as much as around the summer window. But in the January window, you were very, you know, our situation was evidently clear. We were behind in the league. We had key injuries to a number of players. We were struggling for fitness of you know, Calafiori as well, and Ben White, and Timber was playing every game, and it was kind of like, you know, we need some forwards to come in. Maybe we need even like a lone player, like, I don't know, midfield or something like that, to alleviate a bit of the pressure on the players that are playing week in, week out, and just to not do anything when I think the opportunity was still within our reach. And I think the way the season ended clearly shows that maybe in the league we wouldn't have gone all the way, even with signings, I say we signed a Watkins, we might have not pushed it over the line in the league, or signed a winger and Watkins, we might have not done it in the league, but we would have been a lot closer. I'm 100% sure of that. But in the Champions League, I do think that opportunity was still there, and I don't care what people say. I think over the 2 legs, we done enough to beat PSG, but we didn't have the quality that they had. Ultimately, what they did in January was they signed someone, with great quality. They already had Doué loading, and they integrated those guys into the team alongside Osimhen Dembele, revived Dembele essentially in Jan, and they went on this crazy run. And I think those signings gave them a boost. We also saw Aston Villa signings give them a boost. Yes, they didn't didn't reach their objectives. They didn't get Champions League football in the end, and that's they might end up having to sell some players this summer because of that. But they gave it a try at least, and I feel like we really hamstrung ourselves in that second half of the season. If anything, made it harder for ourselves, knowing the circumstances we were about to face. And Havertz got injured shortly after, but as you guys mentioned, you could kind of tell that there could be another big injury coming because we're down to the bare bones. So, as I said, I think I praised the management of getting to semi-final, but there's also a lot of criticism, in my opinion, for the inactivity in January, and I think it was a lack of ambition in January. So yeah, that was the biggest disappointment for me this season.
It's hard to argue against that. I think a lot of people would probably point to that, especially where we were at the time, the opportunity still available at the time. And I think obviously Jesus had gone down. We knew Saka was already out. Yeah, so those two, it was kind of like, and the manager was already calling for stuff before that happened, and then that happened. So it was kind of like, I was really astounded that they legit did nothing. I could not believe it. It was kind of like, you just threw away a season, and I just don't think you can afford to throw away seasons like that personally. But anyway, I digress. Khalil, what's your disappointing moment? Player, person, whatever.
So I was gonna go with the PSG second leg because it's the disappointment of not reaching a Champions League final. However, due to the shameless Havertz propaganda in the last round, I need to say the most disappointing moment were the 10 days in January in which Kai Havertz proceeded to put on the worst striking performance of the season, back to fucking back against Newcastle and Man United. Got dumped out of 2 separate cups. Shout out Odegaard though, because he did contribute to the madness. But yeah, them point blank chances, I could not believe what I was watching. It's like each one got worse and worse and worse.
You better believe what you was watching. It was Osimhen in AFCON. That's what you were watching.
Listen, Osimhen could take those chances with his eyes. Let's be honest here, man. Not even Osimhen. Osimhen's boys, his streamers that he carries around with him, CFC Trey. Them man could have bagged them chances that Havertz missed.
I'm putting no money on that, brother, and I don't think Lubop would either. But...
yeah, because Lubop's a racist, but we won't get into that.
Hey man, that's my brother right there, bro.
Yeah, I know. Lewis ain't racist because he has black friends. But back to the topic. The more serious point is, again, we've had debates back and forth about, do the cups matter? My point is, yes. Do we set out to win the Champions League and the Premier League at the beginning of the season? Absolutely. That is the number one goal. However, considering the fact that A, we haven't won in a while, and B, the fact that we were in winnable positions in these games and potentially in these competitions, it is extremely disappointing to go without. You look at when people say, again, we look for the Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. Yeah, Pep and Klopp, did they collect Premier Leagues and Champions League? Yes, they did. Did they also collect League Cups? They did. Did they collect FA Cups? They did. It doesn't prevent them from attempting to reach their overall goals for that season. And it's never, ever a bad thing to win. And I feel as if we've over-egged it as Arsenal fans to the other side, where because we haven't won the title, you're then going out of your way to sort of downplay side missions because, it's not the main goal. And my thing is, if you're in a cup semi-final, you should be trying to win it. If you're at home to the worst Man United team in God knows how long, and you cook up 16 BCMs, you should be disappointed that you lost. So, yeah, I think definitely for me, the cup games, more specifically the Kai Havertz disaster classes, deserve a mention here. And he has mentioned in the past that he has an affinity for donkeys, and boy, did he show it in those performances. So, that's my nomination for disappointment of the season.
Fairs. Brother Shabs, your disappointment, disappointing player, moment, team, whatever.
I think it's the creative underperformance across the team. I'm not going to argue with no one about this either.
Oh, you're about to argue, bro, because I know this one waiting, bro.
You going to, brother? And if you don't argue, I'm still gonna make my point.
No, I'm not about to argue with nobody about this, man. You go fight yourself about this. I've said my piece, innit? I've said my piece. I've said it then. I've said it during the season. I said it early season. I'm saying it again, man. There were the 13 draws, the instances where we couldn't break teams down, the instances where teams had perfected their game plan against us, and they just knew, boom, we'll get a goal and we'll camp back, or we'll just camp back and we'll just have these guys break us down. And we just couldn't break them down is insane. We can talk about quality or lack of quality or whatnot. I don't think we had an issue trying to score goals. I don't. I think we had an issue in creating goals. I think we had an issue in being variable with our creativity. I think we had issues in a lack of ingenuity in our attacking line. So yeah, man, is a big disappointment for me this season. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Fairs. I can't disagree too much with that. I think for me, I will pick Erdegaard as a player, and I'm not going to be too downbeat on him because obviously I think he's earned a bit of grace from his previous two performances, but sort of piggyback off Shabs' point, I think that was a real miss. And from some of the conversations we've been having in the chat, we're seeing what other teams are doing. I do think we need to diversify our threat a bit. Germans mentioned before maybe how we can evolve our attack, maybe where we get some extra creativity from, or we get some extra threat from. So just to give us some more. I think that was really, really disappointing for me. I think, Khalil made the point early on. I've just not really enjoyed watching Arsenal. I think that was probably, I say Erdegaard, but it's a wider point around the team generally. And I think that was really disappointing. I think people expressed some concern over what happened last summer, and it really sort of bore itself out to, for all to see. Obviously, we sold quite a few players for PSR reasons. We did diminish the squad a bit. I guess some would say it was made up by MLS and Ethan coming in, which is true. But the overall threat level of the team is just is really not where it should be. And especially when you've watched some of the other teams, we all saw what happened in the final with PSG, how they just have so much threat from their attackers. And that's kind of what I need us to build on. I think German made the point. We were having a chat during the final round where PSG's main level of threat was coming. Was it central? Was it? I think for me, it was more the speed of which they move the ball through midfield and get the ball to their attackers quick, so they can get into 1v1 situations quickly. So whilst I would love to see a bit more centrally, I'm not too fussed if we can get our attackers cooking straight away, get them into their running straight away. And that's what I found with Varadue. And I guess, some would argue it's not even, because I saw people making the case for similarities between, how the team's set up and really the difference is, the player quality, especially with what PSG have in the final third, but also with how quickly they move the ball. I think for me, that's been a big disappointment. I watch us at times and I'm like, it's so laboured. We allow people to get back into shape a bit too easily. We're not doing enough to destabilize them quickly. And I think it's the intensity. German, you talk about operation speed a lot. And I think, I'm hoping that the arrival of Zubimendi can really, really help to speed that up, because I think that's been a big, big disappointment for us generally this season. There's not been, I'm a bit wary, just the diversion. I'm a bit wary of going too deep into Sesko Gyökeres. We've done it a lot already, and we're going to do the Sesko scouting piece again on Friday. So I don't want to flog a dead horse, so to speak. So let's speak about probably the solitary link that we've had this week. German, your boy, another one of your boys, Leroy Sané, has been linked. And that seems to be the most prevalent link that we've had at the moment. Obviously, it's still very, very early days.
I think it's quite a loose thing, to be honest, but
Yeah, I think it's quite
you
loose.
man are hungry, man.
Listen, we all hungry, bro. Brothers are waking up at 6 a.m. ready to tussle in the chat, bro. And we all hungry, bro. So put forward to me the case for Sane because I am vehemently against this signing.
See, I'll say every summer window, probably every summer window, I'll go for this. I always think we should sign a player that has played at one of the top teams and has won stuff. I'm always advocating for getting one of those players as part of the team, especially with someone like Jorginho leaving. Not saying Sane is gonna, be a crook and be on the bench for half a season like Jorginho and just be a coach, but I think you need to get experience amongst the quality that we have, whilst also increasing our overall quality. And buying just like NPCs that guys are mentioning in the WhatsApp that they have barely watched for 90 minutes. I'm just not going to be a fan of that. I'd rather suggest a player that I've seen extensively. I'd rather suggest a player I know what he's going to do. I feel like I know what he's going to do at least. It brings that right level experience. So for me, I'm not against Sané at all. There's got to be, the parameters are pretty clear. He should be on big bread. He should be a squad player, in my opinion. He can cover both sides, and I still think he has the quality to help decide games, which is what Sterling clearly lacks. Which is why Sterling was a useless transfer, to be really honest. But I still think, Sané, he's still got some of that. So for me, it's like, and I want us to sign a couple of players because I think that the team needs a bit of re-energizing. I feel like there's some players in this team that are, clearly very, very good, can score double-figure goals, can get double-figures assists, and even some of the ones that I don't rate that much can get that. So if we just, if we find one or two like proper ceiling raisers and increase those guys that we don't rate that much with, marginal marginally better players and experienced better players, I think overall the outcome is better. So I view Sane in that bracket of he's not just marginally, he's better than, for me, Martinelli and Trossard. He has got experience. He can play a role. He can play on both sides. And if you can sign him alongside with that centre forward and that designated left winger spot, then I would be happy to do it. That would be 3 new forwards, and that will, for me, be rejuvenating the attack essentially. I think what is necessary is for Trossard to not get renewed. Trossard needs to leave. I think it's the right time to be saying goodbye to him. So I'll be very disappointed if they don't do that and renew him. I don't know if it's the same amount of years or whatever, bigger money. I wouldn't understand that move. I think there needs to be one of them needs to go. It's clear that both can play a role, but not the role of the protagonist, in my opinion. So so one is surplus to requirement, for me, quite clearly. So but that's how I position Sane. I view him as a marginal increase or an increase to someone like Trossard, and I think he needs to go. And we need to find someone that covers both sides, in my opinion, as well. At first I was thinking we need to find someone that covers all the positions. Like, can we get someone that can play left, right, in the middle? And then that's why I was really drawn to Shirky, because I feel like he could play not just the middle, in a deeper zone, but also like as the false 9. I think he got all those capabilities, and he's a fantastic player. So disappointed we're not in for him, but if he doesn't, I think there's a few opportunities in the market. Would I take Sane as the first one? Probably not, but if we get the centre forward and left winger, I wouldn't be against Sane coming in at all, because I feel like we need three forward thinking signings. So, and if that means one of them is on a free and Sane, I still believe he's got quality to give. So yeah.
Khalil, give me your pros and cons. Are you pro Sane, against it? Can you understand
Don't
the
be
value?
yawning, chaps, bro. I see the yawns.
This guy's hot. Khalil, give me the pros and cons of Leroy.
Yeah, I'm yawning because this guy's boring the hell out of me with this German player propaganda, man. Like another one.
You've been working too hard all day, man. You need to rest.
Sané is fucking finished, man. Like if you can't see that Sané's finished, yeah, and you can't
Okay,
learn.
how many Bundesliga games of Sané have you watched this season?
How many have I watched?
Yeah, and full.
Whenever I've watched Bayern play, I don't know, 5, 6 times I've watched Bayern this season.
See, I doubt that.
Okay, doubt it. Why would you ask me the question?
So I can doubt it. That's why.
What's your follow-on question? Because what does that have to do with
I
anything?
feel like
How many full games have I watched him play?
that they haven't watched extensively. It's like, and then they make very like, oh yeah, I know exactly he's watched. How do you know? Like, you've not watched them extensively. You same way for our players, when people making context or arguments for our players that we watch every week and someone say, oh, Odegaard is washed now, you give context for that player not being washed. You got explanations for him not being washed. You might make a positive argument for him. We don't grant that same thing to a player that we just want to dismiss because we don't want him. If you don't want him, that's fine. But to say he's washed when you haven't watched him extensively, I can doubt that. And that's the position I have.
I don't know that Sané is washed. However, if you haven't learned anything from like recent dealings that have taken place with his, let's think about Sané's cohort. Let's think about his age mates and his peers, the same players who are the same age, who have come up with him through the game of sport. Sterling is amongst them. Yes, different circumstances, sure, and whatnot. So what I do know of Sané, and when I did watch Bayern play this season, Sané wasn't starting a lot of games for them. He wasn't starting. I think he only started half the games. A lot of him was limited to subs appearances. He did score goals, but he scored goals in situations mostly when, so I'd see Bayern up and he'd contribute with a goal, but Bayern are already like 2-3 goals with comfy lead. So they were inconsequential goals in my view. I don't think he looked as threatening as he looked even the season before when we played against them in the Champions League when they knocked us out. And the quality of the opposition in Germany is, and I'm not someone who knocks Germany, by the way. I'm not someone who knocks the Bundesliga, but it is a lesser quality league in terms of like the quality of the opposition he was up against. I don't think that he looked threatening. I don't think he looked sharp. And I think it's to do with his injuries. So if we sign him, yeah, bearing in mind he's going to be on a big wage, yeah, for me, we have to be very careful with that kind of business. We have to be very, very careful with that kind of business.
I have no problem with people saying
I don't. Let me just finish. I don't dismiss the context and the situation which you gave for if we sign him, you can see it as a squad player. I would be less concerned about that type of scenario. But I still think we have to consider what has happened, who his age mates are. I'm looking at players like Serge Gnabry. I'm looking at players like Kingsley Coman. I'm not just talking about the players that are at Bayern either. I'm talking about across football. And players that have had significant injury problems or injury issues like him. I think it's a risk. And I don't think we can dismiss that. I think he has quality. Say it again?
Every transfer is a risk.
Yeah, fine. Every transfer is a risk. You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The circumstances have to be the right ones for me to advocate for signing for a player like Sané. See, that's it.
And if someone has I'm open to contrasting views. I enjoy disagreement. What I don't like is when people make a judgment of someone, positive or negative, of limited viewing capacity. Like 5 or 6 games, okay, you can make your judgment, but to have that strong of a judgment, I feel like it's just not a strong argument in my opinion.
Yeah, but I've backed it up.
If I watch 3 games of one player and say, oh yeah, he's fucking shit. He has to be really bad in those games for me to say that. And I don't think
I've backed it.
He was really shit.
But I've backed it up though. I've qualified my statement, and you know from the arguments that we have, from the arguments that I have with others in the chat, I go against them for making this exact same sentiment, for this exact same rhetoric. I'm not judging my opinion of Sané solely on the basis of what he's done just this season gone. I'm judging my opinion of him, of the player that I've known and watched several times for a very long period of time. If you want the player, cool player. Yeah. But we heard your opinion. This is a different opinion. That's it. And I'm not as big on us moving for the player. It has to be, for me, very specific circumstances where I think, okay, it makes sense. I'm not as big. He's 29 years old. He's going to be 30, coming back to the Premier League with the level of injuries that he has had. I think there's some learning that we could extract from recent deals with players of similar profile. I don't think he's as productive as he was once upon a time. He's not playing as many minutes as he was once upon a time. I don't know exactly how much games he has played, but I know when I watched Bayern last season in terms of full games, often he was not starting games. I know when I watched him at highlights, often he wasn't starting games. I'd be surprised if he started 20 league games last season. I'd be very surprised. I don't think he did. So if he's not starting 20 games for Bayern, yeah, I'm asking questions as to why. So to be fair, I think I'm qualifying myself. I'm not just making sweeping statements saying...
This is exactly my point. Do we want this player to play 20 league games for us? No, the point is...
No, maybe not, but maybe we don't want him to play 20 league games for us, but I think I've qualified my statement as to why I think physically, I don't think it's the best business. And I've explained it as well in the chat. I worry about certain players. I think his performances have plateaued personally. I don't think he's going to uplift. He still has quality. He could still do something maybe, but the extent to which he would be able to deliver for us, I don't know. In the way that we play.
I watched it tonight. He looked sharp. People even said it in the group. He's looking sharp and he looks crazy fast.
I didn't watch him tonight.
It's not that he's not playing the bad side as well. They're playing Portugal. So
yeah, I didn't watch the Germany game.
I've not watched. Do you know, just to piggyback German on what Shabs is saying? I think my concern with some of these signings would be, I think the doctors raised it before, is that, you know, you've had players who are super successful. I sometimes question
I hear that angle.
The motivation,
that's the doctor's
hunger.
Angle,
yeah. But also, this is going to be his last big contract, right? So I don't know what he's asking.
I don't think it will be.
At 29, I don't think he's gonna. If for example he was to come Arsenal, yeah, what's he signing? He's signing probably like a 4-year contract.
No,
he's gonna receive a
free
at 20. Boy, I don't know. I think he'd be looking for the security. I think he'd be looking for a big signing on fee, big wages. That screams to me potential red flag, especially when you add what Shabs has said about the injuries. Now you could argue, if your point is that if he's the third attacker, maybe. And for me, that would necessitate Trossard would definitely have to go, because I don't think it's good to accommodate all of those wages. Obviously, in an ideal world, in an ideal world, Jesus would go as well. Because if you were to say to me, obviously,
age profile as well. So
exactly.
Go anyway.
Yeah, Trossard and Jesus need to. So if you were to say, for example, you were to buy like Sesko, Nico Williams, or Rodrigo, or whatever, and Sané, I could understand the argument.
That's exactly my angle.
Right. Okay.
So let me ask: can you see him in the press, in this Arsenal press? Can you see him effectively leading or facilitating this Arsenal press?
This guy has played on the managers that enforce a press for the last 10 years.
Throughout his career, yeah. And I know he has, but 29-year-old Leroy Sané today, do you think he could offer the intensity of pressing that our coach requires on a regular basis? Do you think he would
play in his lineup, not winning a damn ball in the final third?
And I hate Trossard. I don't hate no player. But yeah, I criticize Trossard for it. You criticize Trossard for it. So what I'm asking is, can you see an upside? Can you see Leroy Sané providing an upside on that?
Yeah, I do. Which is why I'm suggesting the signing.
Can you see him? Can you see him during defensive transition?
Asking the same question 5 times.
Yes. I'm asking you a different question, bro. I asked you about the press. Now I'm asking you about defensive transitions. Do you think he could do 50-yard sprints, 60-yard sprints a couple of times a game to help us recover?
Why does he need to do 50-yard sprints?
I'm asking you.
He's capable. He's an athlete. Of course he's capable.
He's a cooked athlete. Listen.
A cooked athlete is not. It's not in. He's like in the top 10 speeds in the Bundesliga last season. He was looking sharp tonight. that's not a cooked athlete. So when you say
Let's
someone
see,
cooked
man.
athletically,
Let's
and
see.
they can't be top of athletic metrics,
Let's
that is
see,
literally
man.
contradictory.
This guy loses reasoning when it comes to
Let's
German
see. Let's
players.
see.
Bro.
Khalil, give me your thoughts. What's your thoughts on Sané?
The more I think about it, the less and less I like the deal. I would have to see a first choice centre forward and a first choice winger who is not Leroy Sané come through the door before I even consider a deal like this, because
Yep.
I can already foresee March time, Champions League, quarter-final, semi-final, and people are dreading the fact that Leroy Sané is having to start because he's just been walking around with a pregnant belly that he developed in December. Like, I can see this is future projections. If this is Leroy Sané from 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I'm a huge fan of what he was at City, bits at Bayern. You're right, I haven't made a conscious effort to see Leroy Sané play last season, but Leroy Sané in 2025, what the proposal will likely look like is you've got a guy who's on more than 10 million per year currently with Bayern. If I remember what Gab Marcotti said recently, he said he's looking for a potential increase on that. Okay, he's going to be looking for a big deal. He's going to be obviously moving back to the Prem after spending a few years away from it. And I predict, and I could be wrong here, he's not going to be looking for a short-term extension. He's going to be looking for a few years of security. If you consider the fact that at this point in time, we have Jesus, Havertz on the books, right? Big wages already. Trossard, who we're allegedly giving a contract extension to then add another, in that context, very risky addition for the reasons that have been outlined, which is mileage on the body, right? Which is expense on wages.
The body.
Keep looking at the body, brother.
I got to look at the body. I got to look at the body, but he's not looking at this body, boy.
Yeah, word to German on that one, because again, we're not paying for what he's done.
Tell me Ekitike is a great athlete. You know, I just checked him and Sané tracked the same top speed last season.
You have never heard me ever push Ekitike prop in my short life, so you can take that.
I'm not gonna lie, you know hood solicitor chaps. You be pushing these French Donnies onto us. Pause.
Well, my propaganda starts with people who are below the age of 27, except Marcus Rashford. If you want to do reclamation
below
project,
the age of 27, how old do you think Osimhen is?
This is the issue with German Dan here.
Hold on. Let's stop there for a minute.
Listen, if you
how old do you think?
Hey, you can have that one. Yeah, you can have that one.
Listen,
that's the pod title, bro.
Aaron the plumber is swinging.
Listen, if you call up Galatasaray's HR department and you say, "Can I see Victor Osimhen's paperwork?" The photocopy that they'll push you through will say 1997. So we're clear on that one. But yeah, back to Sané.
I'm not. It's not. To be fair, it's not a priority for me. But if they do it alongside those two signings, I'm not gonna be up against it. That's my point.
Yeah, because like I said, if we sign Sané under the context of already signing a first-class centre forward and a first-class winger, I'm fine with it, because I do like his profile in terms of he can actually dribble, which we tend to struggle with our other left wingers. But yeah, it would have to be under that specific context.
Boy, his dribbling numbers are down. I just checked.
That's the same context as me.
Might still be better than Trossard Bartelli, but again, the only way I can potentially consider this is if we do those two bits of business first. If we do not do those two bits of business first, I do not want to see Leroy Sané anywhere near this club, because it will then just be another anchor in which 12 months time, man will be complaining about we've got too much wages on the too much heavy wages that we can't shift. And we need to start making signings that address our now and our future, not just stopgap, because effectively Leroy Sané is a stopgap once again in the area of the pitch where we've been making too many stopgap measures, as opposed to elsewhere in the pitch where we're happy to spend X amount on players repeatedly. So yeah.
You might always talk about shots.
He's doing two dribbles. He's doing two dribbles per 90. Wait. Everyone's got stats. There's my stat. He's doing 2 dribbles per 90 for a completion of 44%. Leroy Sané. How
many shots is he taking per 90?
2 point something shots per 90.
That's wrong. It's 3.78.
Yes,
3.78.
I'm on FB Ref right now, brother. Yeah, I know I'm right.
yeah. One day someone's using FB Ref, the next day someone's using Y Scout. You use the stats that fit your agenda at that particular point in time.
3.69 shots. Yeah, you're looking at league only.
Brother, what do you want me to look at?
Oh, I was looking at all comps for a better reflection of his total minutes.
Do you think playing in the DFB Pokal, you think it's gonna be a better reflection?
No, he plays in Champions League as well. He plays in the Champions League as well. What are you talking about? We can't just select one competition. We don't only watch him in DFB in Bundesliga. We watch him in the Champions League too. It is cumulative. It matters.
If anything, the Champions League minutes are what would move me more than anything. As opposed to
3.69 shots per game, 1.65 on target per 90. That's fine. I ain't got an issue with him. I didn't say nothing about his shooting. He scored. What did he do? He scored 11 goals this season. That's a slight overperformance on his XG.
He's someone that has threat. You guys always talk about threat and player committing other players.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just listing stats.
I'm not. That's fine. I'm trying to say, yeah, get him on a free. If his wages are not mad, that's nothing crazy to me.
That's not crazy. What you're saying is not crazy. Just your what you said is not crazy at all. It's just your defense of him was
without risk of sounding like the redacted R&B artist. Alisson Youngblood, bro. Alisson Youngblood, bro. I need that, bro. I'm just letting you know.
I am getting off this pod right now, man. I'm not trying to be part of no Rico. I'm not trying to be a part of no Rico.
He who shall not be named.
You see what's going on. You see crime and law on YouTube every day for those highlights. I'm not. You man, see you later.
Don't go nowhere, Shabs.
Shabs, come back here, bro. Don't go nowhere. Right, okay. That I really didn't anticipate that Leroy Sané segment. As long as it did.
I saw you eating some food over there, Sean. That's why it took very long.
Bro, no, I was shocked, bro. I just thought it was a couple one-word answers, bro. You man were doing Civil War. Anyway, let's do some listeners' questions to round up. All right. King Lex, I am Mr. Lex says, evening lads, hate to be that guy, but with the business you think we'll likely do, winger, striker, DM, goalkeeper, versus what City and Liverpool are doing, have we missed our window to win the top prizes? And if so, how long before the chasing pack catch us up to? God damn. Hey,
listen, let me just jump in. Shirky, I'm disappointed about, man. I think German, Sean, I think we all feel the same.
Everyone rates Shirky, bro.
I think we all feel the same about Shirky. I think in winter, when we were talking about Shirky potentially being available for 20 mil because of financial fair play issues at Lyon, that's a deal that should have been done then. Yeah, for me, for what Shirky provides you with his quality on the football, and especially after we've watched quality on display in this UCL final, Shirky's a player you just take the risk on, man. It's an inexpensive fee. He's on something like 50k a week at Lyon. Like, you can triple his wages and it still be comfy. That you can triple his wages and it still not stand out. You can use him as a starter, as a squad player. Everything that German Dan said as well, across the line, centrally, as an interior, even up front. So for me, that's an opportunity that we have effed up on. I'm not going to lie to you. Tijani Reinders, that one as well, that has pissed me off. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really get green eye looking at the deals that other clubs do, but these are guys that we have been calling for a long time. And we were talking about him saying he might cost 70, 80 mil to get out of Milan. And Milan have ended up selling him for 44, 45 mil. That's like nothing for a quality player who's still in his prime, who, for me, he's got bags of quality. I think and I think he can play every aspect of midfield. I think he can offer assist defensively. He's good in retention. He's progressive with his passing, brave with his passing, but he can also carry the ball. He's very athletic. He wins his duels. Like, he could play every role in midfield for me. And it's just a shame that we were not in for a player like him, because I think he massively lifts the quality of our midfield. So again, I'm disappointed with that. You man might want to comment on the others, but Liverpool haven't signed Wirtz yet. I think Wirtz is a quality player, but the injury worries me. Let's see how he returns from the injury. And for the money that the territory that the finance for this deal is going into,
a lot.
I'm not sure.
A lot. And I rate the player, but when they're talking about it's going to be over 110 mil, like that's a lot of money, bro. A lot of money. And like, I think the point German made is like, cool if you think he's better than Shirky, but he's not like 90 million pounds better than Shirky. Do you know what I mean? Not. So it gets to a point where you're weighing up opportunity costs, right? And you're just like, no, I think I'd just rather do Shirky at like 30, 40 mil. Like, even if he does have like attitude issues or whatever, the concerns, like the risk, the risk is a lot lower. But maybe I'm just hating because I'm looking from outside the club. So
I think sorry, Khalil, one more thing. Just I think the more you spend on a player transfer fee, the greater there is of a risk, the greater there is of the deal not being successful, because the expectation goes up. The output can only go to a certain amount. We're talking only about the transfer fee. We're not considering the wages as well. So if we're talking about 130 mil, this doesn't include the all-in fees when you consider sign-on fee and player wages and agent fees and what. So you talk about the best part of 200 mil spent on one player. Now, I know they need to replace creativity with Trent, but the more money that this deal goes into in terms of territory, the greater it represents a risk of the deal not being successful, in my view. Sorry, Khalil.
No, I was going to say there is precedence for a very hyped German player coming from Leverkusen making a big money deal to come over to England, and people are a bit skeptical of the high cost involved. So let's see what happens with Wirtz. I like him, but I'm not blown away to the point of paying 130 million. What I'd also say is anyone who has argued that our central progression is not an issue should not be crashing out over Reinders or Shirky moving clubs to another team like Arsenal. If you have been expressing concerns about central progression, which some of us have, then I think it's only natural that we see players of this quality going to our rivals and wondering, what the hell are we doing? Because plan A seems to be reviving Ødegaard and shopping around for a striker and a winger. And I think that depending on who that striker and a winger are, to answer the question, our window isn't necessarily shut. If we go and sign Rodrigo and go and sign, I don't know, who's the centre forward? Oh yeah, Victor Osimhen. Man, that window is very open. If we go and sign Leroy Sané and then go and sign another centre forward who is not Victor Osimhen, then maybe our window is shut. But I wouldn't say it is as dramatic. I do think Arsenal have the capability to make serious moves in the transfer window that can, keep our window wide open and ensure that we can win. But it's just a crucial time now. So don't despair just yet. Despair on September 1st when the window shuts and we're negotiating for Leroy Sané to come through the door.
Sure, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
I'm not losing no sleep over Reinders. I told man before. Nice player. I ain't losing no sleep. Shirky.
All right.
That's a real
Question from Boama Enoch. So listen, guys. Yeah.
Hey, wait. Hey, you man. Sorry, someone's at the door.
Who? Oh, this uncle. Listen, we're about to finish the pod, and
That's I don't need a long time, man.
Hey, listen, I told him this guy's moving like Stone Cold Steve Austin by the end of WrestleMania, bro.
Well, in a couple minutes, you'll be surprised what I could do. I'm telling you, bro.
Hey, relax.
Uncle Ant, what do you want to get off? We're going through listeners' questions, bro.
I just want to say that I'm very unhappy about the perceived back of fucking Benjamin Sesko and death to all target men. That's what I want to say. Yeah. Bring me my goal scorer in Victor Gyökeres. That's all I'm interested in. Yeah. I don't want these statues. I've had enough.
This guy watching Coventry comes, man. Flip.
Bro,
This guy is a sicko.
you
No, no,
think
real
that
life,
the
that is
Coventry
crazy,
Cops-
man.
I've watched whole games. Do you know about sitting there watching Coventry versus Middlesbrough from 2021?
Yeah,
You think I did all that for nothing? I didn't do that for nothing.
Go watch Leipzig against Bielefeld, bro.
And you know what? All right, but you know what? You know how I know? You know how I know Ant's a sicko? Because one day, randomly, it was still mid-season. It was like February or something. And he said, "Oi, you man, I'm sold on Gyökeres." And I thought, fam, there ain't been no football. There's no links to him or nothing. Why are you just randomly talking about him? He said, "Yeah, man."
The 180.
All in on him.
The
So
180 Ant
quickly.
did, yeah, because at the start of the season, do you know how badly Ant hated this guy? He was like,
Hated him, bro. Remember when he was watching the watching the games and he said he's in he's got bare space in that league. He's popping it off,
Bare
he's bouncing
space.
off his chin, and then he's running like 60
Fam.
yards. I remember Ant's analysis
Bro,
from like September.
Ant was sending us transfer market pictures of all the Portuguese strikers that have not slapped, bro.
Yes.
He was like, hey, trying to rub it off.
Infographics and all sorts. This is how I know Ant's a sicko.
I
Went
did do
into
that.
the rabbit
I did
hole.
do that. I admit it. I did do that. I remember.
Listen, Ant
It's
went
not
into
just
the
hold on
rabbit
before you go,
hole.
Ant. Yeah, it's not just Ant. No, Lou was doing that shit as well. He's Goki was camped as well now.
Lou's
The
nasty.
finishes were too clean. They're too clean.
No, but no Rumple. Look, he's turned his camera on.
I need you to understand me. You have to understand, bro. I'm a bare pods, no camera. Like you can see my doors. I'm
laughing.
Yo, he's looking like the Riddler in Batman when he's doing his message to Gotham.
Bro, it's important.
When was the last time Ant had a trim, bro? This is why I know he wants to get this off, bro. I'm telling
No,
you.
I'm saying a trim. Hey,
I'm letting the hair grow, man.
I'm 41. I only cut my hair when I'm going out.
He's been locked in a cabin just watching tapes over and over.
Bro, we need a goal scorer. I've been watching Aubameyang comps, thinking Gyökeres do that.
Hey, you're bugging.
Big
You're
league.
bugging. You're bugging, bro.
Watch the goals. Watch the goals.
When you said Victor, I thought you were going to say Osimhen. I thought, finally, I have a brother in the Nation of Islam.
I'll take him as well. That's my second choice.
Chill out now. Chill
Osimhen is
out.
my second choice.
Ant, chill out now, man.
I'm not happy with Nigerians after Saturday, but Osimhen is my
Have we got to change the book title?
Yeah. It's true.
All right, well, let me be involved with the listeners' questions. I got time, man. I'm here, man. You lot record mad early. I'm not even home from work when you lot start recording.
Hey, bro, all right, cool. So I was asking the question from Boama Enoch. He's given me. He says, so please rank these 3 potential attacking transfers. The first one is Sesko, Williams, and Gittins. The second one is Rodrigo, Gyökeres, and we keep Trossard. And the third one is Semenyo, Watkins, and Sané.
Give me the second one because Rodrigo's the best.
Give me the second one. Yeah, give me the second one.
The last one was crazy, bro. I can't even believe you told me Semenyo, Watkins, and Sané.
Did you say Semenyo?
I didn't even hear the third name.
Watkins and Sané.
Yeah, Sané just pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie,
bro. Yeah,
Even Semenyo and Watkins are they're like third or fourth on our list, surely.
Yeah, bro. They're
I really
way
like
down.
Semenyo though. I'd take Semenyo.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
but not
he's
over
all right,
Rodrigo.
but I don't know.
Rodrigo
how...
or the other man, you wouldn't.
No, probably not over Rodrigo. No, probably not.
Would you take Semenyo over Leroy Sané?
Absolutely, 1,000,000%.
How come
Leroy Sané is finished?
Oh, wow. Anton,
again.
Anton, you won't believe. You won't believe it.
You missed the
Listen
Civil
back
War
to
we
this
had. You
episode.
missed the Civil
You
War.
won't
I already
believe
know
it.
that little German fella was banging a drum. His fellow black
You
German.
won't believe it, bro.
Doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out. He's been having an argument in a group chat we were in together all day. I bet he didn't even use no original material. He just said the same stuff.
Hey, look how God works. Hey, Sean, look how God works. Look how God works.
It's
I'm not gonna have the chat again.
But wait, let me big up Dan. Have you been watching these TikToks?
No, I don't even have TikTok.
Might need him for left 8, you know. He's been moving 5 days.
What has he been wearing the cricket shin pads, though?
German, I was very impressed. That little drop of the shoulder. I said, man. He's got
has he been wearing them cricket shin pads, though?
Yeah, nah, he's doing his thing. You have to respect
him. Bigger than his legs, bro.
I didn't know he had it in him. The movement was sharp. I even went left. And no, he's on job.
I ain't got TikTok, man. You might have to show us.
Yeah, you have to send.
Can you guys get with the times and just get TikTok? How do you survive without TikTok?
Fucking hell, man.
Bro, I don't even have it.
Social media app of all time. I'm telling you.
My missus be sending me stuff on TikTok all the time. I be clicking on it. It takes me to like the Safari page. It's like you need to download TikTok, bro, to watch the video. Bro.
Download it.
I just don't watch it, bro.
You see, every single thing that you think is wrong with you, like makes your character flawed. TikTok will prove to you that there's nothing wrong with you and there's a million people just like you. It's great. I love it. It validates my character so much.
You do see the stuff that you're actually interested in, like.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
I like it.
Of course.
Nah, bro. My missus is on that app for hours, bro. I can't even get her attention no more. She just be sitting there addicted. I'm like, what are you even busting joke at? She's like,
bro, me and my girl, we talk all day, but we don't say anything. We just send each other.
That's real love, though. That's real love.
That's when you know you've been with someone a long time, bro.
One romantic TikTok, one laughy TikTok, one passive aggressive. You're good. That's a whole day's talk, bro.
Yeah, that's real love. When you communicate by DMs and memes, that's real love. Real love.
Mate, real life.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's got to go second. Rodrigo and Gyökeres, I think.
Yeah. That's for me. That's head and shoulders above. To be fair.
That's fair. No. That's it. Anton, you should have jumped on earlier, bro.
Maybe if you didn't record at 6:30 p.m., I would be able to.
I don't know. We recorded. I think what time? No, we started at like quarter.
About 9 p.m.
Yeah, no, I was in the gym then, innit? I'm trying to catch up to you. Free plate soon land.
Yeah, bro.
Sean, what are you fighting? What are you training for, bro? Like,
bro, leave
you ain't gonna lift all that weight, bro.
No point in life where you're gonna need to be in a situation to lift 140 kilograms.
Hey, listen,
bro.
One day,
walking down the streets hoping a building collapses.
Hey, listen. One day, someone's gonna come and propose.
In an earthquake.
Someone's gonna come and propose to my daughter one day, bro. You gotta stay ready.
He's gonna weigh 74 kilograms.
That's fine.
What do you need to do double for?
Nah, you're crazy.
You just wanna bench press him and his friends.
You're crazy.
But yeah, all right, guys. It's been a lovely 13 minutes. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll be on next week.
Listeners, we'll catch you guys soon. Yeah, take care. Peace.
Best.
Yo, when I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Dant and